morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending where you are. It's Cake here, and not the kind you eat. And today we're talking about Ash, the original high-speed flanking operator that comes from Rainbow Six Siege. And today we're going to narrow it down into 4 categories, as always: fragability, utility, team necessity, ease of play, each worth 25 points, and will be added up at the end to create your scores, which you see here in an A through F category, where we will decide what kind of operator they are. So, getting into first, fragability. Now, fragability was actually created because of Ash players. Ash's primary response to combat is to be high speed, breach from a distance, and it's definitely awesome for getting in and out of the objective as fast as possible. She is the OG when it comes to stuff like that. Nowadays, a lot more operators have come to fruition that kind of do the same idea of high-speed flanking breacher, you know, like that. So I give her a 25. She is the OG. Her fragability is top tier. We still see her in ranked games daily of people flying around high speed, knocking people down with Ash. Okay, so 25 out of 25. Moving right along, we have utility, which whereas her speed is good, her device is kind of lacking based off of the newer operators and the newer gadgets that have came out recently. I give her a 10 out of 25 for her utility, mainly because operators now have something called the Gone 6 that they can carry. Some of them have projectile breaching charges like Zofia. I always do that to her. That and what is there, the new sniper, Callie, she can blow open walls with her sniper rifle now. So there's a lot of operators that could do the distant breaching that she has always been able to do. And I think that knocks down the utility of her being used as a Utarian objective player. She's more now just a flanker and a good fragger, which also brings down her next category, which would be your team necessity. She's a distant breacher slash fragger, right? We understand that. It's becoming more and more important to have yourself a flanking fragger when you're trying to hit objectives. But the problem is, now there is so many other variations of that. We have Amaru who can fly up into windows and hatches with her projectile, correct? We have Zofia, who is literally Ash on steroids because she also has projectile flashbangs now, too. And that's only to name 2 operators that have similar, if not the same, style of play as she does. So it kind of makes her not as useful as she used to be. But she's still used quite a bit. The last category we have is ease of play. Now, if you're just wanting to run around and shoot stuff, she's really easy to do that with because she's high speed and her guns are pretty good. The problem is, if you're trying to play her for her intended role, which is a flanker, a high fragger, and a distance breacher, she's a little bit more difficult to do that with because you have to understand at what lanes of mapping there are. You have to have really good map knowledge. You have to understand where the enemy likes to sit, so you have to have knowledge of the metas and understanding where people hide mostly, because if you run in this way, there might be a guy that always sits in this corner. If you run in that way, you might be right in the middle of all of them, or if you run this way, you might get behind them. So it makes a big difference in her functionality as ease of play, which a lot of these operators, you have to have a good map knowledge to understand what they're going to be used for and how they're going to be used. But I give her, for ease of play, I give her about a 15 as well. Whereas she's not a perfect 25 because you do have to have map knowledge to do her. You can't just show up and do the job and follow somebody else. But at the same time, her character's pretty easy to understand. So with that all together, let's do a quick math real quick and get all that added up and see what we got. Alright, so we got the math added up. That puts her at a 65 percentile out of the 100 for her playstyle. Now, once again, these are all opinions. That puts her at a D, which is a little higher than some of the other operators we've done, but it's also not a very high score. And that, of course, is because the more I see it in ranked, she's only really good for fragging and flanking, whereas people like Thermite or Thatcher or, you know, Brava or Twitch, or somebody who does a unique action would be a lot higher ranking. So With that being said, make sure you check out all of our socials. We have Twitch, Twitter. Obviously, you're on YouTube. We have Discord and the link. Check all that stuff out. We'll be happy to answer any questions or anything like that. Just let us know in the comments down below or on one of those social links. And we'll catch you in the next one where we do another operator.